Alright, welcome. Let's see here. Welcome. Of course I gotta keep doing this, so hope you guys are coming in. So as probably noticed at the beginning bit where like it's on, what am I saying? Ah, jeez, I'm already brain. I gotta get my brain and mouth synced up. That's usually the hardest part of these. As I'm doing this, gotta do 3 things at once and do that. Good. Okay. So I'm sure it's not too bad, but yeah. Yeah. I had the stream as unlisted for like 10 minutes, and that's it. I don't know. I'm weird complaining about it, but anyway, welcome. How we doing? Yeah. Hope you have a good April. Try and get a good start on April. It's you know. I know that Yoshi Bluewater had a weird video. I don't even know. Should I keep going with this? It's past it already. But yeah, that was interesting. That was a quite quick turnaround from idea to upload. It took about 3 days really to make that. But yeah, we're getting pushed up. There we go. Yeah, that was a fun little experiment to see if I can use this kind of art style with different kinds of characters. It originally didn't even have like Yoshi, like the Mario character, in it at all. It was just gonna be like a beach, and then like Derpy would fly in and then drop some letters in the ocean, cause haha, and then she would like pop out of the screen and go, "What's this?" and then break the fourth wall, and then that was it. So it's a completely different like idea, but then I just made it to be Yoshi Bluewater, and then there was Bluewater, and then a Yoshi, and then had more ideas with that. And it's like, well, if we're inside of Mario World, then I'm gonna add more characters from that. So I added the birds and the shy guy. But yeah, okay, very cute. Thank you. But yeah, I think we'll start going on here. Not sure how long or what exactly we're gonna do. Oh yeah, we'll see. Hello. Hi Star, hi Cookie, and Flourish. Ooh. You might have been around here. Don't quite remember you. Probably shouldn't say that. Welcome. Yeah, if you've noticed, or very, very keen, this is actually a different software. This is not the software animation that I usually use. This is actually Toon Boom. So this is Toon Boom Harmony Essentials. So if people are like, I thought this was more powerful, that's probably because you were thinking about the premium version, which has more features and more stuff. So unfortunately, I'm just using the Essentials just to really just test it out. So yeah, but we'll see. So I actually drew this in Toon Boom. Loud user twos. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I remember you now. Let's see here. So I drew this in Toon Boom. Toon Boom is a software that's actually from the ground up, I think is designed for animation, if you believe that. Flash historically was not built to be an animation studio or animation software. Flash was originally like Macromedia, even before then like Future Wave, something close to that. But those ones were actually just drawing. It was just like using vectors, which are mathematical points, and then it creates lines in between them. And then you can zoom into it infinitely, and you can keep zooming in, and then it would not lose its quality. Same with how I drew these, where if I keep zooming in, you don't really see pixels as much as compared to if I render it. Then you can kind of see, especially around, get too far and you can start seeing like some aliasing as these are pixels. But if I go back to regular vector, that's a good example to see like how it's a straight line rather than it being aliasing and actually pixels. So Flash was designed to be that kind of art style or like art software to be able to just draw things. And then Macromedia said, hey, why don't we try to make it animation? And then Flash bought that as an animation studio thing, and so now it's just like it's more like an art thing that can also do animation. Toon Boom, on the other hand, is an animation, and it has like a whole bunch of animation specific tool sets. So as an animator, I'm gonna try and see first impressions and how it kind of works. I noticed historically like a weird like jump that you have to like have a big learning curve before you actually do anything really well, like learn how to do everything. So I'm just using the essentials right now, which is the cheapest and less feature heavy, so it makes it bare bones essentially to work with. But yeah, I'm gonna see how far I can really get with this today. But I'll be doing as I get some water. Hi. All right. Any questions before I get too started? Anything else? I don't know. Any comments? Yeah, we'll dive into this more. See what I can do. I can't explain what this puppet is. It's actually a puppet. So over behind my head is the palettes. So you can see like all these different. These are universal palettes. So if I change like one of these to a different color, you can see how easy it is to like change globally each color. So it uses palettes, which is interesting. A lot of other stuff is going on. Is that an easier software though? I would still say that Flash is good for beginners. Just because it is like not actually animation side heavy. This is like you better be at a level before you jump into this, I would say. Obviously you can, but it just seems like it might be easier to have some knowledge before you jump into Toon Boom. Because a lot of this, obviously, all these different tools and panels, and it's like, what even is any of this? You know, it's like, you even got like a top-down 3D camera in X Sheets. So if you don't even know like how animation really works before you jump into it, I would say that Flash is more streamlined and just has pictures and stuff. So it's definitely harder. Just trying to figure out like, even how like each feature works is actually really different. But yeah, once we kind of get into like something, I can kind of show you that. Ooh. So I can show you the puppet. So this is the whole puppet. So Flash doesn't show like when it changes colors. That's interesting. I'm gonna make sure I'm not in animate mode and in transform mode. So Toon Boom has like different layers. There's no symbols, I would say. They have symbols, but I think it has a different term for it, or it means something different. So instead of putting everything inside of a box, everything's kind of laid out. This is gonna get crazy if I remember which button it is. There it is. So now your timelines look like this. So that's why I'm saying that Flash looks a little simpler. And each of these even open up. Some of these have extra bits and stuff. So it's not the prettiest timeline in the world, but it's more, yeah. So some of these, yeah. Like I can open any of these that have like the plus and say that it already has like parameters to it, and then I can add like different filters and stuff onto it. The basics of it is that there's artwork and then there's pegs. So this is already getting really complicated, and you can already see like, if I jump into Flash, you would see that I could just do that right now. And this is fine. Let's simplify this. So here's Flash. Now we're inside of Flash. Whoa, changed. So you can see like here's everything inside of a box. Everything is in there. And then I double click, and I have these invisible layers like this circle, which has parenting system to it that I can have everything be, all the face bits be a child of this parent circle, and then they move along with it and have masks and everything. So then when I go outside, if I move this out here and then go outside, then it'll move and be cut out. But you can see like the timeline, not that bad, you know? It's like, yeah, I folded it into like 2 different folders, so I can put like, oh, this is the body, and hide it when I don't need it. Here's all the bits. I designed it in this way to be more like Toon Boom without really realizing it. So, I'm going to add like extra bits because there's no pegs in Flash, which I'll explain pegs in a little bit. Um, but yeah, I kind of like made this puppet in a way that works more like Toon Boom, where it has everything be on one level. I'm going to distinguish between levels and layers. Levels are these different screenshots, essentially, where I can uh, edit this much of stuff on this level, and there's a bunch of layers on that level. If I click on an ear, I did it the Toon Boom way. If I zoom in and then click on the ear, the only thing I can affect and edit on this level is this one layer that has this art. So if I click out, I double click to get outside of it, and then now I can move it around. But if I double click inside the art, then I can move each individual shape and piece and fill and everything. And then also there will be multiple frames if you want that too, and then you can animate with that too. So, like going back to Toon Boom, we get back to here, and it does essentially the same thing, but for every single layer, now there's twice as many layers. I think that's right. For every layer now, there's 2 layers because you're moving the artwork as well as the peg. So the peg is just moving the artwork around. It's essentially making it into a symbol, and then you can move this symbol peg around, and it'll be apparented to the child artwork. So it works similar to that, but you just have to think about it in that way too. So I could hide a bunch of this stuff and say like, oh, I just need to apparented everything inside of the head. So the head has all these layers that all equal into these. So these are all separate layers. But each of them, as well as every layer, also has a second just for the peg to move the art around. So once you start like animating, it gets a little tricky of just trying to figure out like what to keyframe. You know, should you keyframe the artwork, or should you keyframe the peg? And then I'm sure there's people who get complicated with that or get confused. So, any questions so far? Because I think I got the basics of it, but I'm sure that I'm such a novice at this that I downloaded this yesterday. So if I get something wrong, I'm definitely gotta say that's probably right, that I'm wrong. But yeah, once we kind of get into more practice of it or do something with this, it'll be a lot simpler. But yeah, just trying to think like how to animate it is a little different. But not as different from what this sort of method is that, you know, I essentially did it the same way. So, but yeah, it's amazingly I drew it like very similar with the artwork. So the polyline tool is actually pretty good. I can kind of show that I can make a new drawing layer, apply and close, hide that. Now it exists as this little bit, but we can use wherever it is, I think. So I can use the poly tool because that's what I was using a lot of the time. Let's go to black, and then I can make a triangle and say nice. So that's the poly tool. That's more of how I draw. Where I'm using these different like lines that are like built in rather than free drawing stuff, especially for like the final artwork stuff. Like wanting an ear, it'll just be these different points, and then I can use these levers. I don't know what I wanted. Anchor, arc spinny things. So it's more like Illustrator, where it has more emphasis on using these vector points and stuff. It's not. I would say that this tool I'm probably not as used to how Toon Boom draws. It's a little bit more finicky and just trying to figure out like that's not the way that I wanted it to be. With the angles and stuff. So I would deduct points if this was a contest. That the poly tool is not how I expect things to look. That when I get more complicated and stuff, it's just like that's not right. That's not what I drew. So, but yeah, you're lost. Couldn't even tell you we made Derpy. Great. Because I was using this, I took a screenshot from my flash and then just traced over each part individually. So you can see there's a little discrepancy, but some of these arcs were just like, how many times do I have to like readjust these no, I want to say levers. Changing like the levers to like change it. How about I click it? Do I have to be... Where do I have to be? Do I have to be in head, move, transform, touch, and then can't immediately touch it because I have to find it. The only thing as well is that it doesn't like show me like if I click on one part, where in the timeline is it? If I have like 200 layers, if I click it, like where even is it? So I have to like search for, you know, who knows how big this could get if there's 10 characters and everything would be out on here. But it's more like After Effects in a way of how everything's kind of set up. But yeah, if I wanted to like change the art of it, then I might have to click in this particular layer. But yeah, if I wanted to change this and go to Edit, Line Tool, I can change the angles of these a little bit. There we go. I also did a little bit of drawing substitutions for a couple of these. I think I did the mouth one. It's not letting me select it. It's always like a lasso tool. Does that work? Nope. Let me read and find out where it is. Or I can use the thumbnails. I used this like the first time I opened it. It's just because it's like, oh, there it is. So drawing substitutions are like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just has more frames inside it. So like Flash has a frame picker now that can do the same thing, but essentially just opening the, if this had more frames of it, then I can change it to be a different, I'm changing the mouth to be a frown. So I do it as a substitute. I haven't really got more further into that of like making blinks or anything, but yeah, as a test, it's like, yeah, it's pretty good for now. About that. So I can start with a new clean slate and then we'll just kind of go from there. Kind of show like the basics, I guess, or try to make sure that I get the fundamentals correct as I go to. So what would you like? Maybe bouncing ball? Is that entertaining enough for you guys just to see how it kind of works? Because I can do that. Let's get black and then draw. But there was more properties for brush. There it is. That's eraser. Can't really tell what these brushes are yet. Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Let's get these. Let's get the transformation. That's what I mean. Like, it has like basically every kind of like tool that you need, like usually over here. More than some other things. I can use the cutter maybe. Another thing too is that I can't really see usually where the points are without like highlighting it. Let's use cutter. Maybe. Sorta. Maybe. Heh. Heh. Eh. Let's just draw a bunch and then maybe like erase it. So the actual drawing tools are not as free-flowing as Flashes, that it's kind of like I'm trying my best to do this. Maybe with the eraser tool I can't really see where I am. And that's the brush tool. Eraser? What's an eraser? It's kind of like this invisible like area that goes around it and I can't see where it is. Anyway. What color should it be? We can make a new color. And then if we need to change it later, we got a palette. Okay. So I use the fill tool there. So that's my drawing. So I go to drawing substitution. Now it exists over here as a picture. Let's move it over. I could put it in the center if I want. That's okay. And then We'll add a Control P peg. Now I can move the peg around. I don't know why it's always in lasso tool. Maybe it's a marquee. That's better. Okay. Let's see if I can move the peg around. Does that? That does not do that. Okay. That's interesting. Still learning. Yeah, that's like I want to move the peg around. Did I use the transform? There we go. Okay. How we doing? So I didn't want to start using it. Well, actually, if we go to Flash, actually, we can do the same thing. Where would it be? It'd be in color? Not to say like, oh, only Toon Boom can do it. I can add swatches. Let's see. And then I don't really have everything set up easily here for it. But I can add swatches, and then 2D swatches I can add. Forgot how to do this. Add swatch. Maybe there's Mendo. Swatches. There we go. So there's this default swatch thing here, and then let's say, yeah, convert to a tag swatch. So we can do folder and then add maybe this color in here. So there we go. So I think now, yeah. I'm not really saying what I'm doing, but most of you guys don't really know. So I can change this as a color, go to my tag swatch, and then we'll see if I can change it. Does it change it here? Maybe. Add to swatches. Adds a different color. Is there a way to change it? Red. Tag swatch. Okay, now it's a tag swatch. Now this is a tag swatch. Okay. Forgot how to do this. I never really use this anyway. Let's see. Now if I change this. There we go. Okay, got it. So I don't know what happened to that first one, but there we go. Now it's actually a tag swatch. There we go. Main TV painting coloring. Yes. But now you can see like this is now a tag swatch. So in case you ever needed to change the color later on, or if you had a different, you need to change like a different tone, like a different day to night, you can choose these as tag swatches and make a palette out of this. So again, like Flash has been, Animate has been catching up to all this stuff. That it's like adding more and more Toon Boom features that I unwillingly knew, not known that they were doing that. So a lot of catch up has been doing on. So yeah. Thank you, Epstein. Okay. So let's move the pivot point maybe to the center. So when I rotate it, you might be able to see that something's going on. Let's make this actually a gradient. That might be more fun. Let's go gradient. This will be like blue to green. Let's make a gross color. Let's see then. Let's see. I'm sure there's a gradient button to maybe like change where, how to move the color maybe. But anyway, okay. So mix that color. Library. Drawing. There we go. So now I can use this as a peg, use the transform tool. So okay. So let's do the bouncing ball. So let's have it off screen. So when I render it, it's gone. That's good. That'd be a bit big. So I can change the peg size of it, and it should stay, but the drawing size should still be fairly big. Let's go. Let's kind of rotate it. So now the only thing I'm gonna try and do is just move the peg. So I'm gonna add a keyframe on the peg, F6, which thankfully is the same as Flash is. So just gonna go add some exposure to both these. F5. There we go. Let's go to animate mode, which is entirely unintuitive to like, oh yes, I am done drawing. I need to click a button and then make sure that this stick magnet's actually moving. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Especially with Flash, is like, oh, I draw it and then like you have to literally double click outside of the symbol and then move it around and keyframe it for it to actually move. If I didn't click this stickman button, then any transformations and keyframes that I put in and tweens have no effect. So even if I turn it on, I don't think it'll actually take that effect. So that's not really what I'm used to. Anyway, we can go in here, F6, and then kind of just put it down here. Add the tween, whoop whoop, and then just kind of get the basics of this, maybe. So it'll go up and then go down and then go back up. So I have the basics of it. Add the tweens there. Well, not the tween there. So boop boop. So I have the basics of that. Boop boop. Sad thing when you render it, it doesn't actually show. Like it has to like load each frame individually. With Flash, I can like render this as a swath, and then here it is. So, with this, it's like, oh, I better render it, and then, does this one frame work? Does this frame work? Does that frame work? You know? So, didn't say it was done, but yeah, that'd be the easiest, animating with this. Keyframe before, keyframe there, keyframe after. And then, for some reason it like rechanges where the pivot point is. So, I have to like play with that now. Could like put the pivot point back there. So, yep. Just rotate it a little bit. Nope, pivot point's in the wrong place. Yep, 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 yep. So here, here's the pivot point back there. Flash, the pivot point usually stays where you put it. Let's see. Let's rotate. Nope. Pivot point is over there. Sounds like you already keyframed it enough that no matter what I do now, it'll stay with the pivot point in the wrong place. So that's another factor that's just like, okay, why? Because it got so many other things going for it, but at the same time, it's just like, nope. We got to do it this way because the artwork had the pivot point in the wrong place because you had to make a new layer in the first place, but then that one had to be you have to make a new layer, and then it creates a pivot point in this random place. So when you draw somewhere else, and then you want that to be the pivot point in the middle of that, the artwork, the pivot point's completely different. So then you start pretending with pretending where the pivot point should be, and then it's just like in the wrong place for every time. So I'm sure there's a way probably to figure that out, but for right now, it's just like, really? If I go back, the pivot point stays in place, but every keyframe has to now have that, like it. So, yep. Bop, bop. So I could remove some time here. I can move the keyframe back there. Anyway, you get the point. Boop, boop. Somewhere in here, probably. Need to move these back one. Boop, boop. And if I render it, then we get the same thing of it being womp, womp. There we go. So hopefully that kind of like explains some of the animation, especially just like, we're not animating the artwork, but we could also do that as well. But to do that is also more tricky. So every time that it could like land, we can change the artwork of it, which means I need to do a specific keyboard shortcut of Alt-Shift-D. And you see over here it made a new picture here. So I can have a new frame of it where it's a duplicate of the artwork. And then from the drawing, maybe I can go here, say that this is 1, this is 2, and then make sure I'm not in anime mode, but also this, and then say I want to change a new color. We could add a new whatever color we need. Change this to be contrasty maybe. But also weird. Then color it in. So now, camera mode. We added a, you can see right there, there's one little vertical line that says it's a different keyframe there. So with Flash, everything has this like nice big dot. And you can like probably see from your stream as well that there's a big dot right there. But in Harmony, it's just like, I got these tiny little things down here, as well as there's one tiny little sliver between every other else that's going on here that says it's completely different. So, you know, that's pretty good, huh? I was on the wrong layer. Had to be in animate mode. I was trying to go back and forth, but that's not right. Animate, transform. Now I can move it where I want it to be. It's also like right-clicking, probably because my mouse pivot point's in the wrong place. I'm not trying to trash on it too hard, but it's just like my first impressions are just like, none of this is fun. Control-Alt-D. Made a new keyframe. Go to drawing. Now I got frame 3. I could change the artwork to a new color as well, just for fun. Change it back to green, maybe back to there. And then I'm in anime mode, so I better turn that off. There it is. Camera. That's different. Yay! That was fun. Look how simple and clean that was of a process to do all that. That was a simple animation of a bouncing ball that took like, I don't know, like 10-20 minutes. But that's the simple, basic, whatever you do, where you just want to have like 3 pictures and an animation of it just doing one in and out kind of a thing. So, would it be easier in Flash is the question. I mean, we can do a direct copy if we wanna. We can do that. Probably don't want to time it, but we could do it if you want. So I can do a circle. Let's get the line weight to be pretty big. Want this to be a linear gradient with red and green. We can make this a symbol. And then do the same thing. Where it goes in and then up and then down. Let's put this over here and then down and then back out. So pop, pop, pop. Use some keys. Boop, boop. Okay. I definitely like customize it as well, so it's probably not as fair as a direct comparison. That is like I already have all of these different like tools and like know exactly what I'm doing as well. That I'm using tools that I wasn't using with the shortcuts in Toon Boom, so I'm not sure if that's super as well. Just gonna 3 more frames, change this to be random colors here. And then we'll change this to be random color. And then we just got to change the looping to be keyframe 1. Keyframe 1. You have to do this again, so yeah, in some ways it's still like just as bad, but you don't have to worry about the pivot point. But it's just like, it just automatically makes it here the wrong place. So I can change this to 2. To 2. If I set it up where it was single frame at the first time, then it'd be about the same time. But yeah, boop, boop, that's it. So, is Toon Boom better as an animation? I'm not sure, but I'm sure if I have the same amount of keyboard shortcuts or like knowledge enough to do it, then maybe. But also then I won't be able to see like this, where it's actually animating with a different way to see it. So then whatever this render view that I'm seeing with this, now it's like I can't play it because it has to actually render it for each frame, like kind of like After Effects. If you have too much filters on it, then it doesn't actually render it. So, but anyway, what do we think? Jeez. Okay, Flash give you more shortcuts. Yes, and then yeah, Toon Boom is specifically built for animation, so it has more of you. But isn't the whole thing is trying to streamline it enough that we're already like doing digital? Like I don't want to do all these extra steps, and I don't want to jump through all these different hoops just because I'm an animator. I'm expected to do more. If that's what you're trying to say. It gives me more flexibility in some regard that I'm not thinking of anything right now because of the way that they're very, very similar at this point. So, and then it's like, I know it's not the same, like, I'm gonna draw a horse stream or whatever I was doing last time. I'm just trying to do some initial dots with Toon Boom to see if, because in theory I could, you know, do the simplest and cheapest subscription to try and use this, but I'm just giving my honest opinion as I go. Yeah, yesterday I tried to do like more puppety stuff, and like this was all brought off because I was trying to figure out if I was to do something with Midnight Mares, and then if they're using Toon Boom, then I might as well try to just put my foot in the door and say like, hey, I can do Toon Boom too, so I can work with them. So, but now it's like there's even a function that I figured out that I can easily export this to a SWF. You can't see it, but that literally says export to SWF, which, if you don't know, is the exact file format as this, which is inside of Flash. So I was able to use the puppets that the Midnight Mares made, which is piloted, which is completely off rails, but I was able to open their puppets in Toon Boom and then literally convert it into a swath and then open it in Flash, and then I literally had all the frames and everything, all the layers were actually separated. So, and if I'm able to animate it within like very small, you know, reason, I right now I see that there is like one thing that might be like, oh, I can't do that in Flash, but at the same time it's like, well, there's also this sort of also other way that I can do it, which honestly isn't that much of a like, oh no, I can't do it kind of a thing. So it's yeah, it's like cooking, I guess, where it's like you can definitely cook it at home, but you can also get it at a restaurant, and it's like, well, the restaurant's seen up by professionals, and I'm just doing it at home. But if we make the same cheeseburger, one's gonna taste maybe better, but the other one's homemade, and isn't that better? I don't know. So it comes across as like Toon Boom is an industry standard, and everyone who's an animator should use this. Don't use Flash. When at the same time, I'm exported in Flash, and I'm using this only for like 2 days, and I don't see enough reason to actually convert. Is my honest opinion that it's like this is interesting, but just for like the simple stuff of what I usually do, I can do like a simple animation with this, with Derpy, and then see if it's really worth it. If I get like those other advanced or premium versions, it's like it doesn't really. If I'm able to make do with 90% of the stuff I need to do with essentials, then I don't really see adding like, oh, I can do it in 4K. Great. Kind of a feeling. When in Flash, I can do it up to 8K, you know, with the Creative Cloud, and everything is kind of condensed. There's no 3 versions and everything. I have to like figure out like how am I supposed to like know what exactly which version to use. So, saving Flash players who should maybe wise to try some this. That's why I'm opening my options now, you know. But at the same time, I don't think that's enough of a reason to stop. The Flash player is only for internet things. If I was a Newgroundser, and that's my main shtick, where I only post on Newgrounds or whatever, and then if that particular website is unable to load swaths, then that would be bad. But at the same time with Flash, I can convert the swaps to AP4 and then have that as a video and then post it on YouTube. So I don't think that's enough of a Flash is dead correlates back into the software itself. Because I can export it in any different way as well. So, but yeah, I could do like a short thing to see if I can do anything with her here with the time remaining. I could add some bones to her arms, which sounds weird, but I can try that. Let's open these up. Yeah, the only like thing is navigation with this. I mean, sure, Flash has the same thing, but it just seems like it just wastes so much space to have the pegs on as a separate like virtually seen thing. And it's like I need to know where the arm is. It's just twice as big now. If there's like a search thing in here, that'd be nice. I don't know if there is. but yeah. So I get out a bone, I guess, just to see if that one works. So I gotta go on here, I guess go on the peg layer, I think. I'm not sure. And then I'll say I want a bone here. Look at already bone right there. I didn't want that. Let's see. Can I move that bone? Maybe I can. I can probably use that bone and then just say like, oh, I got a couple bones and then see if I can move them over. Nope. Maybe. See, it's got connected over there, which is weird. I want to move these over, but I'm not sure which hand does it. But yeah, might also kind of work as well. It's just kind of like over there now. If I undo it, I'm sure that it's probably maybe there. Yeah, it's still trying to be over there. How do I clear it? I don't know. There's med, there's brightness. I don't know. That's that one. That one has a bone too. Maybe it's supposed to be on that one. There's like too many hands. Just want to move it. Okay. There's a bone. That's pretty nice, right? Nice deformer with that bone there. Yep. Got real horse moving bone engine going on here. That didn't work. Maybe it's my fault, and I'm not sure. But is it? If I can't know how to use it, if it's not easy to use, is it my fault? I don't know. But yeah, maybe I'll just kind of like rotate things just to see like. The only like sort of cool thing is that it's set up in the way where, this is the only cool thing that it's like, oh well, that's nice, or that's a cool feature. I can press B, on a thing, so I clicked on the shape first, so I moved the artwork first, press B, now I can move the peg of the skull, press B again, and then I move to the head. That took like a couple hours to figure out like how even to parent that, but that's sort of nice. But at the same time, it's like, well, if I did it a different way, or just had a symbol on the head in the first place, then I wouldn't need to worry about that at all. So, but I want to bones that. I love Pikachu. The only other like, oh, that's a cool thing is with the cutter is that it becomes invisible if it's outside of the area that you want it to be in. So it's like, okay. Because with Flash, if we try to use a mask, try to do this. The zoom is a little bit different, so sorry about that. If I use a mask, you can see it wherever it is. It's only supposed to appear when in there. If I double click outside, then it disappears because it doesn't exist outside. Because the mask only appears where I wanted it to be inside of the art there. But with Toon Boom, if it goes outside, then it becomes invisible. So I was like, okay, but now I want it again. What if there's an animation where it needs to go behind something and then come back? And I'm like, oh wait, where'd it go? I don't see it. And it's like, well, I better like highlight things, and then maybe it's around here, I think. Is that where I remember it? That's the only thing that's like, I'm not sure. I can't even get it back now. Like, where is it? I tried like selecting it and it wasn't letting me click it. It knows that it's there. Let me find it in timeline somewhere around here. So this, do I have to move the transform box, move it? It's not moving. Might have broke it. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Let me just go back. And now it's back, so. That doesn't seem like a good feature if that's literally how it is. If I can recreate it where I can select both of these, move them off screen outside of the sclera. And it's like I double click, you know, I start animating the other things. And I want the scleras, or the pupils back. Let's find those. Hello, pupil. Give me it back. That's the anchor point, or the pivot point. Maybe I can move it around. Oh, there it sort of is, but now it's at the wrong position. Well, it kind of appeared there, but that's just re-rendering it. Let's try and find it. I'm trying not to be bad at this, but it's just like, this is how it is. Okay. Okay. Like, I want to move it. I mean, it has to be in animate mode? Can I move it now? Sorta. Okay. That brought it back, but now I made it a keyframe because I had to animate it. If I animate it and then clear the keyframe, it's back over there. I must have moved the art of it without realizing it. Maybe that's it. That could be it. But then at the same time, it's like that. I'm just going backwards. But at the same time, it's just like that. That's such an easy thing to do. You know, of how easy it is to like, oh, I want to move this, but every time I want to click on a symbol, I gotta double click to be able to move the peg of it. That doesn't seem right. Because if I just click it, it might automatically go for, yeah, it's going for the artwork. So you can see here, if I can squint, there's the fat layer, that's the artwork. Again, there's the artwork and then there's the peg. So what I was probably doing was actually moving the artwork outside and then trying to get it back by moving the artwork and then trying to move it using the peg. It wasn't working because the peg sort of is actually changing the scale of it without moving the actual thing. So that's wrong. I was gonna try and do a short animation, but now I don't even know how to do this at all. Okay, so that's another thing to watch out for, and then make sure I'm doing it the correct way. I wanted to go in this of like, hey, how cool Toon Boom is. It's fantastic. Everyone should use it. And I'm like filling around. It's like trying to find things. I wanted to be like a game like tester because I always find like the glitches in games. So I always wanted to like do that. And I'm just I'm trying now, and it's just like glitching on its own. It's like, come on. Ugh. I know the learning curve is weird, but it's just like, this is just simple stuff, right? I'm trying to literally just move this around, and it's like I have to double click to be able to move it on the peg, I think, or maybe it's actually moving it up to the sclera. Am I moving the sclera now? I don't even know. I just did the same thing. I click on people and I double click. Now it's moved on to the sclera level. If I press B again and it goes up to the peg of the sclera, and then I clicked again and now it's on the head. That's weird. Okay. Okay. I think I'm just gonna do a whatever, I guess. Okay, let's delete this so I can have this, and then let's go to, almost forgot to actually put in the anime mode, because, you know, okay. So let's move her, let's keyframe her. Let's put her in a nice position, I guess. So we'll just do like one motion or something and then try to make sure that that looks good. Okay. Put it into practice of like, I put these all into different layers. At the same time, it's just like, I'm not sure. So keyframed everything. Maybe that might work. BB. Fun. Let's select everything but the head. Nope. maybe the body. I put this in a body layer. Let's move the pivot point and then skew it. So I just did that. But if I wanted to move the head again, I'll have to get everything and then kind of move it. Let's move the eyeball. Maybe eyeball. Maybe trying to figure this out. Like, boop. So, pop. As much as I got there, it's just like when this one pose. But what's going on behind the scenes of what just happened is that because I keyframed basically everything, never everything has a keyframe. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, the problem is that everything's keyframed. Every peg is now keyframed. If, for whatever reason... Did that do it again? Oh, thank you. Must be like slowly rolling it back out. Oh, thanks, guys. I think it's on a weird delay, because I'm pretty sure I got paid yesterday. I got it paid out yesterday, yeah. That's weird. Okay. I don't think that's a duplicator. Maybe it's just really weird. Made these red boxes on everything. Oh, beer. And it just wasn't... If I, like, going forward and then, like, go backward, something weird happens. I'm trying to think of what I'm thinking, but it's just really weird. Where, like, it actually... Oh, that's right. It actually, on the art level. Right. That's what it does. I made a keyframe on the art levels as well for some of these. Yeah, for that one. So it actually makes, because you can see quite clearly that it actually made a new duplicate drawing. So, yeah, it's delayed for some reason. If I go back here, it's actually on 6 for some reason. Some of these points are on 6. So, there was more parts to this, which there already is a bunch. They're already on, like, different pieces and drawings and everything. Probably because I, like, moved things around because it was making these extra things. But for this frame picker, or drawing substitutes, which is easier to say, it might actually start, like, if these were different pictures, it would actually start changing to what it might be, or making a completely different duplicate of it, which I'm not sure how to even delete these pictures, because in Flash it would just be like one picture, and then say like, well, this is only one keyframe of it, so we'll deal with that. But now I have to deal with these different pictures of every part now has a duplicate picture just because I keyframed it. So, if I go quickly back to Flash, if I like keyframe it over and then move it, now it has this nice dot to say like, oh, I changed the position of the symbol. If I go to frame picker and go to I have to move everything over. The frame picker has one image, but I keyframed it so it's in a different position. It does not make a duplicate version of this picture. If I duplicate, or if I can drill inside and then add some time, it'll still say like this. It's probably what it's trying to do, is that it's just exposed for that many times, but that's not what Toon Boom does, I believe. It's actually creating a completely different picture that I'm able to cycle through. If I go into the drawings of this, and then I can't click it immediately, I have to be on the same layer, I think, or at least the same thing. Let's get out of Animate mode, and now I can change it. If I go to 2 and then add some brush whatever here, and for each of these are completely different pictures. So I changed all of these to have different pictures, then we can see more clearly what it's trying to do. And then go to camera, see how it's actually changed the version of this. See how this scribble is different from this scribble? So this one just has like a 1 nub, this one has 2 nubs. So it's actually, when I keyframe it, it's actually changing into a completely different duplicate picture of it. Like it's actually a different artwork. So I don't know if there's a way to not do that, but it's like, if I had to change, if there were more of these, or like, I don't know. I'm learning the system, but if the system doesn't really work, then why am I trying to learn it? That's like, is there a different way to do this? This is weird because it's actually like, I just keyframed only, I wanted to only keyframe, it should have, what I expected was that I keyframed the pegs of everything, but it keyframed also and made a duplicate picture of the artwork. So maybe I'm just ignorant and I don't know what's going on, but if that's the way that it is, and if that's actually what's happening, then that's really weird, and I'm not really on board with that. Rather, I like to have things more clean and just like simple. That if this is getting messed up and like having more and more pictures that are being duplicates or just being completely different. These are completely different pictures. That's why I made each of these different. It's because they actually are different pictures. That's why it's frustrating, because if I keyframe it and just keep going through, it's actually making a new picture, which I only need one picture for this pupil, but now I have like 20 or 50 because I just keyframed it. So, my system crashes more. Obviously Flash, but it's still not actually meant to be an animation software. But this animation software is just like weird on its own level. It's like trying to learn a new language, or with the chef analogy, it's like a professional way to do it, but it's like, it's too industry weird way that it's like, it feels like an alien language trying to learn it. When it's like, I can speak English myself, but if these people are, speaking in Splorgon, and it's like, it's Splorgon better, and it's like, yeah, it's its own taste, So, for right now, I'm gonna keep trying to do it, because I'm sure there is that weird learning curve and just hurdle of it, and I'm sure that there might be a different way to have it so it doesn't do this, which is weird for me, as well as just like how to actually animate it is just also weird. um, but yes, Flash does crash more, but I haven't really tested the limits of Toon Boom yet. There was a point where today even I tried to save it, and it took like more than 5 seconds, and if I clicked it, it was like not responding. And I'm sure if I kept clicking on it, then it probably would have crashed. But I haven't done any like heavy stress test of it to really see if that'll actually be, I haven't done any big projects with this to see like what the limit is. I'm sure if I like add more into it, then it might be pretty tricky. Or even if like bitmap textures are usually, Flash has a hard time with using texture brushes, but Essentials doesn't have that. So if there's a weird bug with the stencil brushes, like a spray paint, which would have like brushes of, you can imagine a brush being, a texture like that, and then you go all the way across and it just has like a whole bunch of these things. So for some reason, Adobe was like, hey, that's a good idea to have like these texture brushes that have a whole bunch of like actual geometry, and has to like figure out like every single dot is a mathematical point. And if you make it too big of a line, then it's like, I have to calculate every single dot? Ah, jeez. So maybe, I haven't done it with Toon Boom because the Essentials doesn't have the special brushes, but maybe it does. I haven't looked into it much. So it's just like, that's, yeah. Not the only thing. Obviously I haven't used it enough to know whether or not. But yeah, there was that like weird thing of like it being saved, and then it was like a little hiccuping and actually turned like white and not responding with Toon Boom. So that could be a thing. With these actually simple things, and even just trying to render it, sometimes it's also a little bit weird with that. Map view and everything, but it's like if it doesn't like work on a simple level, and it's like it's hard to pursue in that kind of waiting. It's a different way, and I'm just not used to it. Probably because my first experience with animation itself was in Flash, and then I just used Flash for 6-7 years, pretty much solely. And now it's like, I'm gonna try it, you know, yesterday. So that's why it's like, that's where I am right now. With like, this is weird. I'm not sure how this is supposed to work, so it's kind of hard to. Yep, it's autosave. How to really test it or like really say like, yes, this is. I wanted to click on it. Nope, can't click on it. Why not? It's head, right? I want to click on it. Did you do transform? Of course. Okay. Let's change it back to 1, I guess, just so it looks nice. But then if I go forward, then it changes back to that one. So, if every time, yeah. That was a weird example with this one is that, whatever I was trying to do here, where, with the ball, if I did it again, I could have a symbol of a ball and then make it a symbol. If I just go inside it and then just add more frames in it and then say keyframe 1. That makes sense to me, you know? And then if I go to frame picker again, which this is it, and then highlight it, and it's like, oh, it adds all these pictures. What's up with that? But they're all exactly the same picture. Only if I go inside it and keyframe it, and then change it, does it actually change anything. If you animate it, and then at no point should, if you move this symbol, no matter what you do and keyframe it, it shouldn't change to the other picture unless I say so. So, because I put it to single frame, I'm not sure where in Toon Boom there's these buttons, or even if that's even a thing. I'm sure there's like some kind of cycle thing, and I'm sure I could do something like that where I have something like what I've done with these eye blinks is that I had to go into the art, and then it has this blink, and then I set that to loop, so it just goes all the way through, and then at that time it'll blink and then does a cycle where it does that. So maybe there's something with Toon Boom that I could do with that, but yeah, again, I was just trying to play around with that. But yeah, this all kind of leads back into the reason I did all this for the context was to just see if I can get the Toon Boom assets from Midnight Mirrors, just to see if I can animate with it. But if I'm gonna have this weird, you know, love-hate relationship with this, where it's like, that's cool, but I hate that kind of feeling, like each step, it's like, especially if I can convert any of the Toon Boom stuff into Flash, then there's a real, like, less of a, I need this Toon Boom stuff at the same time, so. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. But yeah. Hope this wasn't too weird and just felt like a weird rant of like, this sort of works, but at the same time, it's just like, it's foreign enough that it's like, that's annoying, or like, that's weird, and I don't know why it's doing that kind of feeling stuff. So, final review just for like right now, I'm sure it's very narrow-minded of the potential of everything. It'd be like a 3 out of 5 for Flash. Nope. Toon Boom. Man, I'm good at this. Okay. 3 out of 5 for Toon Boom, and then 4 out of 5 for Flash. 5 out of 5 would be if I can like hook up my brain to the computer and then it animates it. That'll be a 5 out of 5 animation software. For right now, it's like Flash is just good enough, and I understand it just for using it for so long as well. That it's like I understand its quirks, and it's like it's happy quirks in a way. Toon Boom's quirks are like, that's really annoying and I don't understand. So, but yeah, final review is that I'm not sure the full potential, or even like how to get around some of the frustrating stuff with Toon Boom. That's like, why did they do that kind of stuff? So, and we animated one pose. Nice. And a bouncing ball. Was that fun? I see more stuff. I'll go to Torch Time for that. Okay. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay. No, this was weird. But yeah, it was just means we don't have to do more Toon Boom stuff if I'm not sure how to use it yet. Oh yeah, maybe. full bloom 40-minute animated cartoon using Toon Boom. That'd be, yeah. I mean, Midnight Mirrors is supposed to be like a 20-minute pilot, so I can do that on streams if you want. If we get that far with animating it. But otherwise, yeah, that'd be the only reason really to use it would just be to, because I'm like, that's my only like in really with the animation stuff, with the animation projects that I'm somewhat involved in. That was the only thing. I kind of finished everything else. I guess Follow Cesta is my duties are done. I can say that. There might be like, hey, can you change this one frame or whatever kind of stuff. But virtually it should be ready to edit, and then maybe in a week or maybe more, however long it'll take to edit, it should be uploaded. So that should be coming soon, I hope. But yeah, let's see. Next Thursday it's Star's birthday. Oh, great. Okay. I'll try not to do anything frustrating on there, so you don't feel weird. But yeah, I really only thought about this far with the streams, trying to do something with this. I could keep working with this because I have I'm actually using a trial version of Essentials. So I got this for free version of the Essentials, and I got 20 more days to work with it, so maybe we can just do another month of Toon Boom stuff, and then then after the trial ends, then we can go back to Flash and go, yay, you know. But yeah, right now, yeah, I pretty much did my whole rant of why. It's like, it's good. I'll give it that. I can definitely see if in a world where Flash didn't exist and Toon Boom, out of everything that I've kind of used, it would definitely be pretty good. I haven't used TV Paint, but I've seen of it that it seems to have more artistic brushes, so it has that going for it as well as the hand-drawn stuff. But I'm not sure if TV Paint has the symbols or kind of flexibility as the puppets of what I'm used to with Flash. So, but yeah, it's hard to recommend it right now because I'm frustrated with how just using it. So it's hard to say like, yeah, you should definitely use it. And if one of you guys had a question with it and it's one of those things I'm frustrated about, then it's like, you know, that weird situation. So, Flash is, because we have Flash, is like, it's hard to recommend it more. Because again, it's like, just using the Essentials, just like, it's a different Flash. It's weird. I'm using, I think, the newest version, Harmony 17. So, hopefully, maybe a lot of those, it's hard to say, like, because I don't know, like, the community of, like, how Toon Boom is if they're like a blender where they were like a group where they listen to its users and says like, oh yes, let's add this, and like, oh yes, in the next thing we'll definitely update it to have this feature or make this simpler or whatever. I'm not sure how Toon Boom's community is, where if they're like that, of like listening to feedback, or if no one's really complaining about the weird simple stuff of like, why is it doing this kind of stuff. So he was just using ease of use. It's like, it's more work at weird times. Just navigating the timeline is harder. Not that Flash is easier in a lot of other ways. I can definitely see now, because I have both perspectives now, is that I can definitely see that, yeah, Flash is easier to understand just because there's a lot less to look at. You can really just, if you just like press F6 on a layer, you can do a hand-drawn animation real easy. With Toon Boom, it's like, well, did you add a peg to that? And then did you add, you know, a drawing substitute to that? Did you add a 3D plane to that? Did you do this? And it's like, do I need all that? It's like, well, that's how it makes it look good, right? You know, That's kind of what I feel like it is. It's kind of like this weird nerd of like, well, you better have all these extra features, or else people are, it's not worth it. But it's like has all these things. I was like, to entice you to go, well, of course you can put this in a 3D plane, which actually Flash has that as well now. So it's like, yeah. The only thing, even that, is that some of the bones and like the splines, deformers. They have a big thing in Toon Boom of deformers, which I didn't get into. But it's basically like a bone, but you can reshape the mesh of the art. You can look it up later, like deformers in Toon Boom, and it's just like, because the Essentials doesn't really have it. It has bones, like I tried to show off, but it's even like way less. It seems the Toon Boom one seemed to glitch more, or it's just like in a very very specific way that you're supposed to do it, and if you don't do it that way, then good luck. Where Flash is more like, oh well, like Toon Boom like started adding like points in random places. It's like, well, we added a point right here. That's because we said that it'd be cool, right? Or we remembered last time that when you did it, but you accidentally put it in this spot, so that's where your axis is, and that's where it's supposed to be, right? So it's hard to like clear it without really knowing like that simple like undo bones button. So the Flash is like, we're gonna wait till you say so, and then we'll add some points and reshape the mesh and like make it so you can see the actual topology of like a 2D mesh that it can do, and then add some bones onto that, and then you can keyframe each of those bones individually, and then like rotate and stuff. So I had a commission where at one point there's like a rope, and so I tried to think like how to think smarter, not harder. It's to use those deformer mesh things for the rope. So I made like a flat rectangle, and then added the bones onto it, and then I was able to like rotate and then move these bunch of bones around on the rope, and it worked out really well. So if Toon Boom can do something like that without it glitching, that'd be pretty cool. But at the same time, Flash can also do it. So it's hard to like recommend it with both perspectives, So for right now, it's just like it's a different Flash. If you're more like into having visual stuff of like not caring about if you're using a keyboard, maybe, because a lot of buttons are on screen. There's lots of panels, and you kind of saw how it worked. That it's just like it's essentially the same, but at the same time, it's not. So, but yeah, I think that's about it for that. Anything else? I'm gonna drink some water. Get a wrap up on that so I can have dinner in a bit. Yeah, I guess for next time I'll keep working on Toon Boom, and then if there's not as much progress, or if I understand less next time, then we'll probably have something else. Yeah, but yeah, I was just trying to take advantage of the opportunity that I'm using the free trial, so that was the main reason that this came out. But yeah. Other stuff that's going on. The only other project that I'm kind of sort of working on is the movie. I say that, but it's just like the Toon Boom kind of took over, so I haven't really made as much progress as I thought. So sorry about that, but yeah, I was also working on April Fool's video last week as well, so everything kind of just came up to many other like higher priority videos and projects for that for last week. So hopefully, so yeah, next week we'll try to work more on the movie. But yeah, if there's less folly stuff, then it's hard to think about anything else. Yeah, that usually took a while to talk about. So, but yeah, okay. I think that's about it actually. is there anything else? Any kind of final comments, or want me to like look up more features in Essentials or something? Want me to like look into? If anyone else is like an animator, let me know. I'll definitely try and look into that. But yeah, some of the drawing tools, like the polyline tool, is weird. Bones are weird. Keyframing's weird. It's just like, you know, you expect it to be like similar, but then it's like it should be one way, but then it does a completely different way. So it's like really catches you off guard. But it also like makes sense in its own way. So, but yeah. Anyway, okay. I keep drawing on to that. See, I'm rambling again. Okay. Let's find a button. Okay. It's gonna be attempted frame by frame. Oh yeah. I think it's just my skills in just like regular drawing is not admittedly strong, so that's why I usually hide behind the puppets. um, yeah. We can go back to like the open tunes, you know, that kind of style of like that Apple Loom animation would probably look something like that. um, yeah, that might be a fun thing. Try and not use the puppets, but then at the same time, it's just like, be nice. Because I'm more used to that. Maybe play with the more expressive brushes if I see any of them. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be more fun. Because then I don't have to rely on the, yeah, the puppets. Okay. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll keep working on that weekend and see. Try to divide my time up between the two movie. So that'll be fun. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Know this is a little bit weird. Not a typical like come in and watch an animation stream kind of stream. But yeah, it was just trying to get a first impression kind of thing and trying to show some stuff. But yeah, it was. I knew that it wouldn't be super smooth, but it's actually a bit smoother than I thought, so I'm actually happy about that. But yeah, hope to see you next time when I do something. I'm not sure what, but we'll see. So yeah, see you next week. Stay safe. Bye bye.